Hi, yes, it's Kickstarter project time again, but this one's going to be a bit different. It's not a debunking as such, because there's inherently nothing really to debunk in this particular product. It's the LifeSaver, a limitless power supply for wilderness survival, never a dead cell phone. It comes with breakthrough USB generator, light siren, UV water purifier, and plasma fire starter, everything but the kitchen sink. Now, a few people sent me this and it was just raised on Twitter as well, and there's 3 days to go in the campaign. 1,100 backers here, 230,000 Aussie bucks of the $44,000 goal. $44,000 goal was never going to be enough to develop this particular product, as we'll see. But anyway, yeah, good on Marvin Weeberger. Sorry if I'm pronouncing that incorrectly. Good on him. You know, he's put a lot of effort into this campaign, as we'll see, and it's been successful, and he's done previous successful campaigns. So nothing against him, but the thing with this, even though there's nothing to debunk, I think this is a good example of just feature creep on a product. It tries to be the jack of all trades product, and that almost never works. When you try and develop a product like this, as we'll see, it's jack of all trades, master of none. And a lot of people will back this thinking that it's, you know, the best thing since sliced bread. And it may be for their particular circumstance, but in general, no. It's essentially just a feature creep, expensive product that weighs too much and takes up too much space for the tasks that it actually does. The jack of all trades doesn't work. You're better off. All the stuff in here can be achieved with other, better, simpler, more reliable, cheaper, or whatever off-the-shelf products. You don't need this all-in-one whiz-bang gadget that's going to save your life in the zombie apocalypse. If we go over to his website here, he's obviously he's developed these previously successful crowdfunded products, and they're multi-tools for like survival firefighters and that, but they look pretty good. You know, no problems whatsoever. But when you start getting into electronic products like this, you start to come against. It's really easy to come against, and not only with feature creep, but in terms of just sheer practicality of these sorts of things. And the team they've actually got working on this thing is quite large. They've got an industrial designer, they've got an electrical engineer, they've got 2 mechanical engineers, and the actress in the video, as we'll see, and also the video production assistant, technical assistant for the video, as we'll see, and the videographer. So I think they spent more on the making this promo video for this thing than they did for possibly developing this thing. But they hired this professional actress. She's been in things. So this thing has all of the elements of your classic serial entrepreneur Kickstarter thing. The updates. Oh yeah, it's the world is talking about us because it's been seen in Yahoo Finance and Digital Trends and New Atlas and the Awesomer and Gadgeteer. All these ones that, yeah, people really read. Not. Who cares? It's just so typical of these Kickstarters that they put all these badges as seen in blah, 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 blah. Every Kickstarter does it. It's nothing against this. It's just classic. And because it's all part of the Kickstarter scene, they've got to promote these other Kickstarters. Because if you don't know, when you develop a Kickstarter like this, when you publish one, you'll get other Kickstarters, other companies contacting you. Hey, let's do a deal. If you promote our Kickstarter, we'll promote yours, and vice versa. It's like the old school, shared link thing on your website. So what is it, the LifeSaver? Well, it's a personal emergency generator. You guessed it, it's the old hand crank generator. But in this particular case, you actually can swing it. There's 2 modes of operation. One is that you can just swing it like this, and 2, you can actually hand crank it like this, which generates more torque, which charges it up faster. Yes, it's got an 18650 rechargeable battery in it, which is replaceable, which is quite nice. But as you'll see, there's no point having the generator just carry spare charged 18650s. Would be better and lighter and simpler. But This is all part of what I'm talking about in this video. Anyway, it's got a flashlight and a lantern, a strobe, emergency siren, a force multiplier, control button so that you can get the amount of force that you want, a panic button that triggers a siren and blinding strobes, and of course you can recharge the battery, because you're not going to go out into the field with this thing with a flat battery and then charge it up like this, because as we'll see, we'll go through the numbers on, and they're very honest about the numbers for this thing, which is strange for a Kickstarter. There's, you know, not much wanking in marketing wank numbers in this thing, I don't think. I think they're pretty honest, which is quite nice. Anyway, it's got a UV water purifier and then a plasma fire starter. Wow. And then if that's not enough, go into the updates here. Here it is, asking about, in the long term, we'd like to do even more feature creep. Look at all this stuff. Extra bright flashlight and lantern, because the current one, the one in, it's only like 31 lumens. AM/FM weather radio, emergency breakdown flasher, air pump, stun gun, because you might have to, in the zombie apocalypse, you might have to start stunning people. In societal breakdown with your bug out bag, you're going to have to start stunning people. Cell phone signal amplifier, satellite messenger, Bluetooth speaker, hand body warmer, because you want to piss away your valuable energy warming up your hands instead of just rubbing them together like that. Cooling fan. Electronic compass, rangefinder, red light flashlight, directional sound amplifier, and night vision goggles. It's like, this is the classic thinking of a serial entrepreneur who just has no idea of practicality. This is just, it's just nuts. It's just absolute nuts. And they're deadly serious about this sort of stuff. This isn't a joke. Like, they want all these plugins because at present, the UV water purifier and the plasma fire starter are the two plugins which plug into the bottom of this thing. It's, you know, and it's kind of, you could say it's kind of like a nice industrial design, everything like that, but it's just, but as we'll see, it's just like a waste of weight and space. So it's a killer deal if you want two of these things with the plasma fire starter and the UV water purifier plugins, because they don't come standard. Then it's only, you know, $109 each. US. And anyway, it's got 12 power cranking, replaceable battery, flashlight, blah blah, all that sort of panic button, and all sorts of SOS beacon. Yeah. Anyway, it's a be all end all bug out bag survival tool. And they've got a quote from the person, Danny Boo, who's actually part of the team on this Kickstarter, who's actually presumably being paid to, she's the outdoor survival specialist consultant and was consulting for the little mini movie that we'll see in a minute. So yeah. You got to quote your own people. Jeez, there's no bullshit here, as we'll see. It's you know, everything on this thing's going to work, and it's going to kind of sort of do as claimed, essentially. But it just goes on and on and on and on, and people think that this is going to, you know, be the be-all, end-all product. And, well, who needs it? Recreational boaters, preppers, urban survivalists, all that sort of stuff. Put it in your bug-out bag. Oh, stretch goals, orange, belt holster, the SOS beacon. So before we get to the tech specs, let's go up and take a look at the video. As I said, I won't play the whole thing, but they've got this professional actress in the wilderness. She's got 52 kilometers to go, distance to target, and they had the outdoor consultant chick on here was on some naked outdoors serial program or something. Anyway, she was the outdoor consultant, and here we go. We're gonna, look at this, it's on my belt here. I'm gonna get out my water purifier stick, which is a real thing. As we'll get into the UV water purification, it does actually work. You don't need a huge amount of power for it. It won't be as simple as that and as quick as that, but it does actually work. It kills the organisms, the UV. So that is actually a real thing. And then keep going, and of course, there's a wolf or something, and what's she gonna do? Oh, let's grab our LifeSaber thing. She's in the dark. And here it comes. Here it comes. She's about to be attacked. Oh, yeah. No, zap him. the blinder and the alarm and siren and everything else. And then, I'm going to start my fire with my plasma fire starter. These are a real thing. You can actually buy them, little plasma fire starter modules. So I'm not sure how effective they work. I've never used one personally, but yeah, I can imagine those working. So anyway, apocalyptic wasteland, but phone still works. Oh, what'd you see? It's an alien spaceship. Oh, look, I found an alien. Yes, aliens. Freaking aliens. She found an alien spaceship. She wants to take a photo. Oh, don't you hate it when your battery just dies when you're taking a photo of the alien spaceship? Oh, but no worries, no worries. I'll just get out my thing. Got to do this for 15 minutes, by the way. If you look at the specs, 15 minutes just to get, I think it's 30 milliwatts. We'll go into the numbers. 15 minutes of doing this, or she could have hand cranked it for 3 minutes to get there and plug it in. Oh, the phone's back up. And, yep, got a photo. We're not alone. She tweeted it. And, oh, alien. That's, it's not a tall grey. It needs a charge. The alien needs to recharge his ship. This is great. Oh, let's just spin it. Generate an extra 30 milliwatts, and that'll, yep. I'll start the thing up. No, it's not going to work. It's not going to work. Oh, no. No good. No good. But wait, I've got the extra mode. I've got the extra force torque mode in there. This will really restart that alien spaceship, that 0-point module. That'll recharge it. No wuckers. And once again, you've got to do that for 3 minutes to generate 30 milliwatts. Alien's happy. And spaceship, I'll take a selfie. Yeah, brilliant. Yep. Oh, look at that. And off they go. Anyway. There you go, emergency siren, water purifier, blah, blah, blah. There you go. How much money did they spend producing that? As I said, they had like an outdoor consultant and the professional actress and everything else. Oh, goodness. Now, we'll get into the tech specs in a minute, but look, hats off to them. It's been a 5-year development history. I don't want to take it away from them, but I just want to use this as an example of a feature creep product that just, these hand crank outdoor generators, they're not new. They've been around forever, but everyone still thinks that they can do something better, than just carrying a little foldable solar cell and a couple of charged 18650s or something like that. Anyway, they do show, look, they show the real hardware here, all the prototype hardware. They've got an Adafruit module there and 3D printed case, and they're developing all that, and the hand crank module, I won't bother. I haven't seen this before. It's like, yeah, spin it. One way, as I said, you've got to do that for 15 minutes. 15 minutes, as we'll see. But they don't lie about the numbers, which is good. And I haven't played any of this. So, yeah, like, it's just take your charged up 18650 or a solar cell or whatever. But anyway, so they developed this nice new handly thing which folds out and, I don't know. But add in the motor. And look, all this sort of stuff, it all adds up to the weight of this thing. And, and then they've got a firmware development module, and look, it's got power graph over time and all that sort of stuff. Like, you don't need this complexity. And look, they've gone through a lot of prototypes here, which is quite good. But now here's the thing. The timeline, so we're up to the launch here on Kickstarter, but they still have to update the product requirements document. They still have to do another prototype. User testing on comfort, ergonomic, and power. They don't know how well it's going to work. They've got to do more detailed firmware and software development. Design mechanical drive chain case. They haven't even designed the mechanical drive train. You could easily come a guts or so many things. Design electronics for prototype version 5, assemble prototype version 5, engineering validation and testing. And we're still in June next year, so we're sick, what, 8 months down the track or something, design validation testing, consumer testing, finalization of contract, packaging completion, and it's not going to, and their best case estimate is to ship in November 2020, so a year away. So really, it's not a Photoshop Kickstarter because they don't allow that. They've been working on this for a long time. Don't want to take it away from them. And they've got all the prototypes and everything, which is great. But, like, you know, it's a year away, and there's so many things to go wrong in all these mechanical type stuff, even on the electronics and production side of things, as we've done in countless videos. So yeah, the timeline is not terrific. Anyway, let's go to the numbers. As I said, they've been completely honest with the numbers here, which is amazing for a Kickstarter. So hats off. Look, they actually total energy output, right? Don't worry about the watts here. All we care about is milliwatt hours. So to twirl this, so to stand there, twirling this for 15 minutes, geez, you're going to get tired for doing this for 15 minutes. You generate 25 milliwatt hours. Or if you use in the force hand crank mode, it's apparently got some electronic force multiplier that you can set for however strong you are. And you can do it in 3 minutes, but you're going to be buggered after 3 minutes of hand cranking this sucker. And you still only generate the same at 25 milliwatt hours, which they call a quick charge, which is apparently enough. Here we go. What can you accomplish with this 25 milliwatt hours? You can restart your mobile phone. Can you? I don't know. Yeah, maybe it'll, maybe. I don't know, but it starts up and it's got everything going. Its Wi-Fi's turned on. It's got all this and all that. And, you know, you're not going to be able to do anything useful, I doubt it, with 25 milliwatts if your battery's flat and you just crank that up. Flashlight, 30 minutes of continuous use. I don't doubt it because it's only 31 lumens. The lantern, 30 minutes continuous. The strobe light, 40 minutes. It can't be a very good, powerful strobe light for 40 minutes continuous operation on your 25 milliwatts. That's not going to scare away your wolf or your bear or your zombie. Plasma fire starter, 16 ignition cycles. Okay, maybe, you know, I don't know. And UV water purification, sterilize 1 liter of unsafe water. Possibly, because if you don't know, Mrs. EEVblog is a water quality scientist. She did her thesis on water treatment. So, and she's worked in the field for 15 years or whatever. And I asked her about it. She said, yeah, this is a real thing. It's used in water treatment plants and everything else. It's no gimmick, and it does actually work. And you can go into various links and things, and you can find out it's all about the dosage rate and the effective and how effective you are at dosing the actual water. That's why you've got to swirl it around in there. And you can get, like, you know, 30, most manufacturers provide lamps of intensity 30 to 50,000 microwatt seconds per square centimeter, and the coliform bacteria are destroyed, for example, at 7,000 microwatt seconds per square centimeter. Or if you go over to another source I found over here, various pathogens, your cryptosporidium, your giardia, which are 2 of your main things that you'll get in creek water, you know, and stuff like that, these viruses. I won't go into log inactivation levels. You can read these documents for yourself. I'll provide them down below if you really want to know. But anyway, dosage limits in this is millijoules per square centimeter. But if you do the conversions, but yeah, I've run some numbers here on the back of an envelope. Yeah, and you can easily do that on the, you know, on a little bit of amount of energy. So, you know, I'm sure that'll, you know, do a reasonable job. And check out down here, weight, 15 ounces without the attachments. What's 15 ounces? 425 grams without the plasma and the UV purifiers. That's a lot of weight to carry around when you can just carry existing tools with a couple of charged 18650 batteries. This hand crank thing to generate 25 milliwatt hours, useless. And of course, if you just carry some charged up 18650 lithium ion batteries, for example, they're nominally like 10 or 11 watt hours capacity in these things. Just carry them charged, well, even one at, let's say, 50 grams contains roughly at 11 watt hours, roughly 440 times the capacity of a 15 minutes of swinging this thing around. So you do that for 15 minutes, actually, 440 times 15. So you'd have to do this for 6,600 minutes. You'd have to be spinning this thing around, right? Divided by 60 minutes in an hour. So you'd have to do this for 110 hours. 110 hours spinning this damn thing around to get the same capacity as a 50-gram lithium-ion rechargeable battery. Carrying one of these charging things is just, it's just a stupid idea. It really is. All that extra weight, all that extra space. It's just a silly, impractical product. And people keep pushing these things as the be-all, end-all, savior, because it sounds fantastic. Oh, just got to crank it up. But when you actually look at the numbers, and hats off to them, again, for giving you the real numbers, 25 milliwatt hours. When a little 50-gram one is like 10 watt hours. Give me a break. The flashlight lantern, for example, 30 minutes of continuous use for a lousy 31 lumen flashlight, which is bugger all. I've got more than that in my little single AAA keychain everyday carry that I carry. Even like an old school one, 31 lumens. It's bugger all. Hang on, they've completely screwed this up here in the table. 25 milliwatt hours. Okay, that's not 900 joules. That's only 90 joules. Joules is the correct one. So in that case, it's going to generate 250 milliwatt hours, not 25 milliwatt hours. Even when it's better by an order of magnitude like that, compared to a 10 watt hour battery, it's only 2.5% of that is 250 milliwatts. It's not much at all. Still, the fact remains, these hand crank generators, they generate for all that effort, it's bordering on naffle. And by the way, there's one thing I can't find in here, and that's waterproof or water resistance. There's just like nothing. You carry this whiz-bang gadget, there's nothing about waterproof or water resistance or anything like that for a survival tool. Nah. Right, so what do you do instead of getting one of this jack of all trades, master of none, big, heavy, expensive, well, it's not that expensive, but you know, useless crank generator thing? Well, the plasma fire starter, you know, you can buy plasma fire starters. Here they are, little rechargeable, $9, Amazon Prime, waterproof. Just get one of these. It's dedicated to the job. It's waterproof. It's got its own little charge thing, so you don't have to worry about sharing charge or anything like that. In fact, you can probably get one that has, if this has a removable battery, you can store the battery in there and you can share batteries among different tools. So you could carry all that pre-charge capacity in your torch, for example. Get an 18650 torch, get an 18650 plasma lighter thing, get an 18650 water sterilizer. Now, apparently this SteriPen, well, it's one of the original ones on the market, and they're quite expensive. So, you know, you could argue that there's something to be said in saving a bit of cost there. But once again, you can have it with its own pre-charged source and things like that. Meh. But then, of course, you get into the argument of UV sterilization versus a filter one like this Life straw, for example, which a lot of people have in their bug out bag or whatever. And, you know, no battery, no power required, just, you know, suck through 1,000 liters of water like that. You know, these work pretty good. There's an argument that UV sterilization is actually better, but we won't go into it. This thing's more than good enough. And as for your plasma fire starter, well, why not carry some outdoor matches, and they work in all weather and they just work. They're small, light, cheap, like 16 grams per drum. They weigh nothing. They take no power, nothing unreliable electronic wise to fail. Nah, this is what you need. Come on. And you can also carry one of these magnesium fire starters, for example. I carry one of these in my Canyon Inn hiking pack, and they work pretty well as well. Once again, no power, nothing to go wrong. And as far as recharging goes, you're going to get better results from just one of these. There's millions of these like foldable solar panels. You know, you can attach them to the back of your backpack, and you can get ones that come with, you know, 25,000 milliamp hour USB battery pack. But of course, something like that's like really heavy. You wouldn't carry that in your backpack, but you carry a smaller one with a, or just simply, as I said, one or two pre-charged batteries. It is like hundreds of times more capacity than you'll get from any windy, cranky thing. So just no, 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 no to a product like this. Goes without saying that this thing is just silly and impractical idea. I mean, let's just put together a simple kit and compare it with this thing, right? This thing weighs 566 grams. It's quite large. You're dependent upon this one product to work. So let's compare it to just a simple kit that I can put together. Okay, you got some matches. What do they weigh? 16 grams for the matches. They just work or get magnesium flint or whatever. Okay, you don't have to rely on any technology to get your fire started. Just get a live straw. That's 56 grams right there. Once again, doesn't require any technology to work to filter your water. This can filter 1,000 liters of water. Just suck it right through. Bob's your uncle. Okay, a torch. There's millions of torches on the market. Oh, don't get into the torch flame war with all the fanboys. Anyway, I like these Lumen top ones, for example. This little AA one, how much this weighs 50 grams and it's USB rechargeable, can use AA's, so I can share AA batteries from my GPS, for example, or any other product you can share with, or you get the 14500 with it with the USB rechargeable in it. It's tiny, it'll do 650 lumens, so right there it's 20 times the lumen output of the silly LifeSaber thing. It's just no contest. And then okay, there's millions of these things on the market. Just one of these solar, this is a 6.8 watt solar recharging. This is going to charge at a 6 times faster rate. Even if you keep winding for a continuous hour, basically you'll be generating 1 watt continuously for an hour, or you can just, this is 6 times more, and it weighs what, 200 grams. Okay, and then you can get a 10,000 milliamp hour battery pack that weighs 180 grams, and that one's got 4 times the capacity of the battery inside this thing. There's absolutely no contest. So if you compare the LifeSaber with Dave's kit, that weighs, I basically tried to get them to weigh very similar. My kit's 500 grams versus 560, about the same for that half kilo, but it's just vastly more practical in every aspect. It's more advantageous than this thing. This thing doesn't excel at anything. Why you would have one of these and carry it, I don't know. It's just not practical. Just no. Every one of these cranky outdoor generators, they just fail. But hey, this one's a success and good on them, and maybe people like it. But no, it's just a classic example of one of these entrepreneurial ideas, and oh yeah, we can throw money at this and we can do the world's best jack of all trades survival tool. No, sorry, it just doesn't cut it. Use the right tool for the job. Smaller, lighter, cheaper, more reliable. So as I said, my intent wasn't to rag on the designer of this or this campaign, really. I just wanted to use it as an example of, just don't develop products like this. Don't get carried away with the feature creep, and especially all this sort of, grandiose, ridiculous ideas of what it can have. Like all this sort of the wanky stuff. You got to no, just no. They promise the world, and these sorts of jack of all trades products, they never deliver. They never do, without fail. So anyway, I hope that was a good example of like an over-engineered product. Let me know your thoughts down below in the comments or over on the EEVblog forum. If you liked the video, please give it a big thumbs up as always. Catch you next time.